Hey, what's going on, guys, and welcome back to another episode in my Football Manager series. This is episode number 3, and today we are returning with 2 more big games of our Lions as we take on Sheffield United at home and Aston Villa away. Before we play these games though, show you how Millwall have been getting on off camera. So of course, in the last episode, you saw 2 very impressive wins for us away in a London derby against QPR at Loftus Road by 2-1, and then our 2-0 victory at home to Leeds as well. I then played 11 games off camera, 2 months off camera, and things started off okay. We started with a 3-2 victory away at Deepdale against Preston in a really thrilling victory for us to make it 3 wins from 3. Gregory scored our first and Preston equalised 9 minutes later, but after that, we scored a goal from kickoff, which was just a really nice team goal. Very nice passing, really nice build-up, and it was Morrison in the end that finished the move off as he made it 2-1 and restored our lead directly from kickoff. And then Fred scored 6 minutes later to give us a 3-1 lead, and Preston did get a consolation goal. We held on for the 3 points, collected our 3rd win in 3, 9 points from 9. I was thinking, I'm loving life, everything's going great, and then bang, out of nowhere, home game, Reading lost by 5-0. Got absolutely thumped in this match, and I got no idea what went wrong. I was using the same tactics as the last 3 games. I was feeling confident, we were in good form, and we just got battered 5-0. It was terrible, man. It was like witnessing a car crash, yet knowing that you'd secretly caused it. It was really bad, and it was just embarrassing, to be honest, losing 5-0 at home to the Royals. Following that, we picked it up. Started with a 1-1 draw at home to Barnsley. Jed Wallace scored our first for Tom Bradshaw, equalised with 17 minutes to go to break the 3 points, but at least stopped the loss. And then 2 wins on the trot. Away from home against Brentford, who right now are leading the league in the game. This is a really big win at London derby where we did concede a penalty, but Jordan Archer saved it. And then 8 minutes later, Morrison gave us the goal to give us the lead and give us the 3 points as well. So spurred on by the heroics of Jordan in goal to give us the 3 points there. And then another win came directly afterwards. 1 at home to Birmingham. Shane Ferguson scored a cracking goal with his right foot against one of the sides that he had a couple of loan spells with back in the day when he was still contracted to Newcastle. So good win there. And then 2 draws in a row. First away in Wales against Cardiff, 1-1. Lee Gregory scored our goal, and then the goal we conceded was so frustrating because we had about 6 white shirts in the box trying to deal with a cross, and every single player lost to Hore, who headed it home and made it 1-1. But still not a bad draw there against Neil Warnock's side. And then another 1-1 draw against Sheffield Wednesday away at Hillsborough. Elliott scored his first goal of the season, but he conceded a penalty and sadly couldn't hold on to the 3 points. So 1-1 there, and things weren't looking bad. No losses in our last 5, only 1 loss in our last 8, but unfortunately since then things have been really poor. We had a 1-0 home loss to Burton Albion. Will Miller gave them the only goal of the game, which gave them the 3 points, and then 3 really poor results. A goalless draw away at the Stadium of Light, and a 3-2 heartbreaking loss at home to my former FM team, Hull City. There were 3 goals in 27 minutes, 2 for Hull, 1 for us through Lee Gregory, and then eventually with 21 minutes to go as we were still trailing, Jed Wallace did give us a second goal and a second equaliser, but us back on level terms, and I was thinking, I'll take the point, but sadly in the last minute of normal time, Kevin Stewart gave the Tigers the 3 points, and sadly that was yet another poor defeat for us. But after that, a terrible result, one of our worst performances of the season, as we were battered 4-1 away at Craven Cottage against Fulham. We were 4 goals down, 24 minutes in, and we had George Saville sent off as well. It was just a really poor first half, and whilst Morrison did grab a consolation goal for us, that's all it was. So, no wins in our last 6 games, only 3 points picked up from a possible 18. We were on a decent run of form. Since then, we've been struggling quite a bit, and that's why right now things aren't terrible. We're 19 games into the season, so not at the halfway point just yet, but 24 points picked up, 8 points clear of the drop. And it's not been terrible, but my main concern right now is the goals conceded. We've already shipped 27 in 19 games, really poor. And because of the bad run of form as well, I'm looking over my shoulder right now, looking at the teams below us and thinking, yeah, I mean, there's a long way to go. We're far from safe. I knew for sure we wouldn't be competing for the playoffs, so I'm not too fussed about our bad run of form, seeing us go down into the bottom half of the table. But yeah, I'm a little bit worried that we're getting caught up here, and we're sliding down the table quite a bit. So that's what's been going on off camera. There have been a couple of injuries to report as well, as we dive into the first game of today's episode against Sheffield United, and also a suspension for George Stout, which you would have seen as well. But as for the tactics, we've been sticking with the 4-4-2 in every single game. We've been changing things up in terms of mentality, sometimes starting on control, sometimes counter, attacking, sometimes standard, but never on counter, and as for the instructions as well, right now this is how it's set up, but I'm flirting a lot with a short pass, retained possession, possession and higher tempo, which sometimes does work out quite well for us, but for the most part, it's normal, it's mixed, and there's no retaining possession at all. So that's what we'll stick with for the first game today as we take on the Blades, and this will be our team. So we've got Archer in goal, a back four of Meredith, Shackle, Cooper, and Connor McLaughlin, with Shane Ferguson on left, being our player of the season so far, Jed Wallace on the right, and in the middle, due to injuries, Tunnicliffe starting the board with field role, Thompson alongside him as well, and up top together, Lee Gregory and Steve Morrison. On the bench, we've got Martin Hutchinson, Toffolo, Romeo, Anya Dinmar, O'Brien, and Cahill, as Williams picked up a knock a couple of weeks ago. He's still injured, and Salvo right now is suspended as well. So first game, it's the Blades. We're on a bad run of form. Let's break out of it, and let's get a win here. We're 19 minutes into the game, waiting for the first chance. I want to say thanks to the comments on the first two episodes, by the way. I know quite a few of you guys have been asking for 3D as Wilson fires one just over the bar. But if you've watched any of my previous FM saves, you will know that we always keep the actual game on 2D. But I'm totally fine keeping the replays on 3D. I know that the match engine this year is really poor on 2D, but to me, FM is just, it's a 2D game. You know, it's a 2D game. I don't mind the replays on 3D, but we're sticking on 2D. We're sticking with the 2D. So it's half time, it's still 0-0, and I'm going to calmly say at the break, you've been unlucky so far, because every time I do that, it seems to work out quite well. It motivates the players, it relaxes them, and right now that seemed to wield some good results for us. And I'll take this point, whilst we could do with a win to break out of the bad run of form, we're taking on a side who right now are just outside the playoffs. So I would definitely be content with a clean sheet and a solid point as well, but second half to come, long way to go. I'm not counting my chickens just yet. So first highlight of the second half. Sadly, it does come to the Blades as well. John Fleck on the ball, finding Leonard, who spreads it out wide towards Ender Stevens in behind Connor McLaughlin, crosses to the middle, and there is George Baldock, who I've mentioned a few times I used to play against in school football, who should have made it 1-0 there, but sadly couldn't first. Well, thankfully for us, couldn't finish like his brother Sam, as he heads it straight at Jordan Archer, and it's still 0-0. Sheffield United have had the two chances, have had the two highlights, but failed to capitalise on them. And right now, I don't want to make any changes because the 0-0 result I would certainly take. We're continuing to drop down in the table, but again, I'll definitely be content with this 0-0 if it finishes this way. But there is our first chance developing here with 15 minutes to go. Steve Morrison on the ball out wide towards Jed Wallace, and Gregory's at the far post if he can aim for him. In it goes, it's cleared away, but Stevens picks it up, and maybe it could come to Sheffield United. Oh, it's gone in! Well, we've got a goal. We've been on the end of some bad luck this season, but in our 2 episodes on camera, in episode 2 and episode 3, we've got a couple of very lucky goals, and Steve Morrison has just given us the lead in the most bizarre goal he'll score in his career. Ender Stevens played it back, and as the clearance by Moore deflected straight off the mid-drift of Morrison, somehow Jordan Archer, I've got no idea how, is claiming the assist for that. But it's 1-0, the Lions go in front, and we have the lead courtesy of one of the most bizarre goals I've ever seen in Football Manager. Well done, Steve. Well, we scored a deflected effort against QPR off Jack Robinson, the centre-back, and for this goal, even luckier, but I don't mind how they go in, so long as they go in. If Meredith slides it through towards Ferguson, there's a great chance here for a second. Gregory's there, yes, get in, and we're going to break out of the bad run of form here at the Den with a big win against the Blades. Millwall 2, Sheffield United 0, nothing lucky about this goal. Morrison towards Meredith, I saw Ferguson in behind the man there, and as Meredith slid him through, Shane, who's been absolutely brilliant all season long, slides it across, and Lee Gregory simply couldn't miss. Millwall 2, Sheffield United 0. We weren't playing very well, but I don't mind how we play so long as we get the wins. 2 goals to the good and 3 points surely in the bag. And as we are going to wait for the final whistle to come any second now, status quo is about to be heard by 20,000 fans as the Lions get a big 3 points. And I'm telling you, man, like even so early on into this game, I'm finding there's one thing that's really being effective for us. And that is saying to the boys, there's no pressure. There's no pressure, don't worry about it. Because right now that seems to be working out really well for us. So I'm going to say at the end of the game, that was really special, lads. Nobody gets a chance to be played magnificently. Congratulations. Everyone is delighted. And Shane Ferguson picking up yet another man of the match. He right now is he's in form and he's on fire. And a Millwall break out of a bad run of form with a big win there. First goal, bizarre. Second goal, nice. Big 3 points, delighted. I should play every game on camera, shouldn't I? I performed better under the watchful eyes of my audience. A big victory there, 2-0. And as you can see now in the table, we're now in 14th place with 26 games to go. Yes, there is still a bit of concern about the goals conceded column. However, 27 points picked up right now. That's not bad, and 10 points above the drop zone. Yeah, there's a very long way to go. We're certainly not considering ourselves safe yet, that's for sure. But Really, really big win there. We had to respond, and we did. Out of our second game against Aston Villa in the relegation zone right now, away at Villa Park 2, that's going to be just as important. 2 massive games today. Let's get 2 big wins like the last episode too. But just before we get there is an FA Cup third round draw, and I love the cup draws in Football Manager. It's just so fun to do it myself. And we'll see what we got. Oh, we're at home. There we go. Third tie already. Please give us a League 2 side or a non-league side. Is there any left in there? Or a big Premier League team at home. It's going to be Crystal Palace. Oh, okay then. Crystal Palace, Roy Hodgson's side taking us on in a South London derby in the FA Cup third round. That is going to be a very feisty affair. Bring them on. So here we go then, second and final game today as we take on Aston Villa in what could prove to be a crucial relegation 6-pointer already, even though we're 10 points off the drop zone right now. Based on our form of late, despite the win in the last game, you just never know how the second half of the season is going to go. But for our team and our tactics for the game, unsurprisingly, no changes after that big win over the Blade, so keeping things as they are, and the lineup's the same as well. So Archer in goal, but for Meredith, Shackle, Cooper and McLaughlin, with Ferguson on the left, Wallace on the right, and Tonic and Thompson, our CM duo, with Gregory and Morrison, our strike partnership as well. On the bench, Martin, Hutchinson, Toffolo, Romeo, Onyedinma, O'Brien and Tim Cahill. And hopefully, same result, same 3 points. I mean, you can't get another sort of points for the same result. But yeah, let's get a win and let's get a big 3-pointer. Crystal Palace at home though, that's really great. I was thinking FA Cup third round. Don't just give us like a boring home tie or just a tricky away test, but nothing too spectacular. I want a really good game and a South London derby. That is going to be really fun indeed. And I'm definitely going to play that one on camera, no question. But before we get to there, some big league games to come, including this one, and I'd certainly take a point. And one of those sort of cautious managers, really. I'd certainly take a point away from home in a big game. But if we can get a big win here as well, claw even further away from the drop zone, that'll be a big, big result for us. And the first chance does fall here, and it should come to us too with Ben on the ball, finding Jeb Wallace. Slides it down the right towards Conor McLaughlin. And the former Fleetwood man crosses, and there is Lee Gregory, who really should have scored. Underneath the crossbar, 4 yards out, heads it over the bar, and that should have been 1-0. Second highlight coming 29 minutes in as we still currently are tied at 0-0. Again, I'd certainly take this, and another clean sheet as well would be a good result for us. But we started the game off bright. Let's keep it going. Jed Wallace through to Steve Morrison. And he's dispossessed by Whelan, and John Terry picks it up. That's a great ball by Terry there. Finding Robert Snodgrass down the left-hand side. And as Snodgrass whips one into the centre, all alone is Lewis Crabbon, a former Millwall player who just played a 1-2 with a crossbar and makes it 1-0. Aston Villa in front, and that was a brilliant piece of technique, which we didn't see very often at the Den, let me tell you that much. Terry, with a brilliant ball forward, finds Robert Snodgrass down the left-hand side. In the middle, Crabbon, all alone, heads it off the crossbar, and then heads it back in. Aston Villa 1, Millwall 0, and Villa take the early lead. Well, not necessarily the early lead, but still 1-0. And not great defending there. Once again, grabbing all alone. That's one thing we were really struggling with this season, is crosses into the box, particularly from set pieces. The marking is atrocious for the most part. And we've got some quality centre-backs here. But heading into the new season, I'm already thinking new season. We can't make any signings in January, we've got no money, but already thinking new season, we're going to have to improve our defence. That's now 28 goals conceded already. We're going to have to improve the back line for season 2, whatever division we're in. And as Lewis Crabbon's onside and through again, he's bagged a brace, and one of our former players is really, really causing us some heartache here. Aston Villa 2, Millwall 0. Big game early on in the season. Despite the win against Sheffield United, we're not going to get anything from this. Glenn Whelan on the ball, keeps hold of it, under no pressure, finds Huri Hain, just inside his half. Lovely ball over the top, something we're struggling with in this game, and there is Crabbon with the finish. So at the break, going to make some changes, drop our defensive line deeper, because at the moment we're really, really struggling to keep those players from running in behind. Obviously, it does invite pressure, which we are struggling to deal with, as you're seeing, but we need to do that right now because players are running in behind and having their joy when breaking through of the back four. So I think I'll also go a little bit more direct in our play as well. Stop playing out of defence and pump the ball up to the top two and see if Morrison and Gregor can do anything. Also high the tempo as well. When I make changes in Football Manager, it's more guesswork than anything else. But hey, we're 2-0 down. It's unlikely we'll get back in this game. But you never know. You never know. Tactical masterstroke? Let's find out. Well, maybe so, because the first highlight comes 2 minutes into the second half as Ferguson finds Gregory, into the side netting. And if he would have scored there so early on into the restart, you just never know. Half in deficit, but it's still 2-0. That's really been our only good chance other than a header earlier. And as we still currently trail by 2, we've got to take those sort of chances if we're to get back in this game. And as Villa have a corner, this could become free as Grabban searching for the hat-trick, but Gregory blocks the shot. And Jed Wallace should clear. Oh, it's a penalty. Whelan was shoved by Lee Gregory, who's having a miserable afternoon, and Lewis Graben has scored a hat-trick against Millwall. That's not a great feeling. In the last episode, I beat Ian Holloway. In this episode, Lewis Graben scores a hat-trick against us. Aston Villa 3, Millwall 0 as he pops it into the bottom corner to get the match ball in a performance where he's been absolutely sublime. And Gregory's been absolutely atrocious. Maybe our top scorer, but he's coming off for O'Brien. I'll also change the strike duo and bring on Tim Cahill for Morrison. You know, Tim's not done really anything this season. But as we trail by 3, that is going to do it. Aston Villa getting the win. This is a miserable way to end the episode after such a great start. Corner for the Lions. Can we grab a consolation goal? Cooper flicks on. Shackle. Oh, fires it way over the bar, and this has been a game where we've not played terribly, but we have missed chance after chance, whereas Aston Villa have taken all of theirs, and that's why they're going to get the win and we are going to get nothing. So a big 3 points for my career mode team as they try and claw their way out of the drop zone and away from the bottom 3. But for Millwall, despite the win against Sheffield United, that proves to be just a blip in what has been a really, really poor run of form. This is a really bad result, and you can see right now where the problems are defensively. We are struggling big time. We've now conceded 30 goals already this season. I think that might be the worst in the league, or certainly one of the worst in the league. And after a really poor display, I'm going to assertively say to the boys, I'm not happy with the performance out there, and we've motivated and fired up the majority of them, and thank goodness for that, because we need to, if we are to get out of this really poor run of form. So, that will end today's episode of the Football Manager series, guys. So a big thank you for watching. Really hope you have enjoyed it. And as you can see right now, due to that loss, we now slid down to 15th place in the table with 30 goals conceded, fourth worst in the division, and a minus 10 goal difference as well, with 27 points picked up. We are still 9 points off the drop zone, but that was a really bad result. We needed at least a point, and to lose it 3-0, awful. We shall return in the very next episode, and you know I'm coming back for that Crystal Palace game. What we'll do is we'll start January in the next episode in the transfer window. We probably won't make any business because right now, as you can see, our finances are plummeting since I've taken over. Not great. We'll start January in the next episode, and we'll play the games away at Carrow Road against Norwich, and then at home to Crystal Palace in our FA Cup third round South London derby as well. So thanks for watching. Please leave a like if you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you for the next episode of my Football Manager series very soon. Bye.